Well, folks, it seems Prince Andrew's entrepreneurial dreams have hit a bit of a snag. And by snag, I mean a full-on, face-first tumble into a metaphorical custard pie. Remember that whole deal where a Dutch company was going to buy his Pitch at Palace initiative? The one that sounded about as plausible as a penguin starting a sunbathing convention? Yeah, that one's about as likely to happen as me getting knighted for services to British-American relations. Don't hold your breath, Your Majesty. The deal's gone about as sour as a week-old scone. The Dutch company Startupbootcamp, SBC for those who like their corporate names short and snappy, seems to have gotten cold feet. Why, you ask? Well, buckle up, buttercups, because we're about to dive headfirst into a world of international intrigue, alleged spies, and enough financial awkwardness to make even a Wall Street banker blush. It's enough to make you wonder if someone spiked the tea at Buckingham Palace. And by spiked, I mean replaced it entirely with a lukewarm cuppa of financial and reputational disaster. Stay tuned, folks, this is going to be juicy. So why was SBC, a perfectly respectable Dutch company, interested in Prince Andrew's Pitch at Palace in the first place? In short, they saw dollar signs, or should I say pound sterling symbols. Pitch at Palace, despite its name suggesting a game show where you hurl javelins at a portrait of the Queen, don't give them ideas, actually had something SBC wanted: a network. Not the Wi-Fi kind, mind you, but a network of startups and entrepreneurs. SBC, you see, mentors and grows fledgling businesses. They saw Pitch at Palace's Rolodex as a golden goose, ready to lay eggs of entrepreneurial gold. Of course, this all relied on the assumption that associating with Prince Andrew wouldn't tarnish their brand more than a pigeon in a windstorm. Turns out they might have overestimated the public's tolerance for royal shenanigans. Now let's talk about Prince Andrew's financial situation, shall we? Because, honey, those royal residences don't heat themselves. And while finding a spare tenner for the heating bill might be a relatable struggle for us commoners, it's a tad more complicated when your heating bill rivals the GDP of a small island nation. See, after the whole stepping back from royal duties thing, and we're using the term stepping back generously here, Andrew's cash flow isn't exactly what it used to be. Daddy's stopped footing the bill, and those lawsuits from, well, let's just say past acquaintances haven't been cheap. So, selling off Pitch at Palace, even if it was his brainchild, started to look as appealing as finding a 20-quid note in your old trousers. Desperate times, desperate measures, and all that. Section 4, Pitching to the Palace and Beyond. Now, for those of you who haven't had the pleasure of attending a Pitch at Palace event, and let's be honest, that's probably most of us, allow me to enlighten you. Founded by Andrew back in 2014, it was essentially a fancy dress competition where startups would pitch their business ideas, but instead of sashes and tiaras, they competed for the Duke of York's attention. Think of it as Dragon's Den, but with more bowing and scraping and fewer opportunities to tell a prince to put his money where his mouth is. The significance of Pitch at Palace, however, went beyond its ability to attract entrepreneurs with a penchant for PowerPoint presentations. It provided Andrew with a veneer of legitimacy, a way to style himself as a champion of innovation and progress. Of course, that veneer started to crack faster than a cheap phone screen when his association with certain unsavory characters came to light. Section 5. Waterberg, an investment oasis or a mirage? Now, hold on to your monocles, folks, because this is where things get really interesting. Enter Waterberg Stirling, a company shrouded in more mystery than a game of Cluedo played in a fog bank. This Bahraini investment firm popped up like a desert bloom, claiming to be partnering with SBC on the Pitch at Palace takeover. But here's the rub. Waterberg Stirling was only registered in Bahrain in late 2024 by none other than Dominic, Hampshire, a close advisor to, you guessed it, Prince Andrew. And who else is linked to this mysterious firm? Oh, just Adnan Sawadi, a businessman with a penchant for praising alleged Chinese spies. Which brings us to our next point.